How a woman secretly shows she likes you. 7 signs you should never ignore. There comes a moment in every man's life when he begins to ask himself a question that almost nobody can answer with full certainty. And that question is whether she actually likes him or whether he is simply imagining things, because the truth is that attraction is rarely announced openly. Feelings are not usually confessed right away. And when a woman genuinely likes someone, she often shows it in ways that are quiet, subtle, and very easy to miss if attention is not carefully placed in the right direction. Most men tend to look for obvious signals. They wait for a direct confession, a clear statement, or some dramatic romantic gesture, but that is not usually how real attraction works in everyday life. Because genuine interest often appears through behavior long before it ever turns into words. And a woman who secretly likes a man will usually reveal pieces of her feelings well before she ever expresses them out loud. The first sign is that she remembers the small things about him. And if you think about it carefully, most people forget details that do not matter to them. They forget random conversations, small preferences, or things mentioned casually in passing. But when a woman likes someone, his words tend to stay in her mind much longer than expected. So he might tell her about his favorite food just once, and she still remembers it weeks later. He might casually mention a goal he is working toward, and she brings it up again days later. Or he might share a childhood story, and she somehow recalls details that he himself does not even remember mentioning. And the reason this happens is because attention always follows interest. Since when someone matters to us, the mind naturally holds on to information about them. And she is not memorizing things to impress him. She is simply remembering because she genuinely cares. And that care naturally creates focus and attention. The second sign is that she finds reasons to talk to him. Because a woman who secretly likes someone does not always wait for conversations to happen naturally. Sometimes she creates those opportunities herself. She might send a random message, ask a question she could have figured out alone, share a funny video, react to his stories, or bring up topics that keep the conversation going longer than necessary. And what is important to notice here is that the actual content of the conversation often matters less than the fact that she is actively creating it, because the real message is not always in what she is saying, but in why she is saying it. And people naturally make time for what excites them, since nobody consistently seeks interaction with someone they do not care about. So if she is finding excuses to stay connected, there is a strong chance her feelings are deeper than she is openly willing to admit. The third sign is that her body language changes around him, because words can be controlled and carefully chosen, but body language is much harder to fake or fully hide. So when she secretly likes someone, her energy naturally shifts in his presence. She faces him when he speaks, maintains longer eye contact, smiles more often, plays with her hair, becomes more aware of how she looks, laughs a bit harder at his jokes, pays closer attention to his reactions, and even mirrors his movements without realizing it. And attraction creates a natural desire for connection, which means the body often reveals that desire before the mind has fully accepted or processed it. And many people have noticed how someone's face suddenly lights up when a specific person walks into the room. And that is not something rehearsed or planned. It is pure emotion expressing itself in a natural way. And when a woman likes someone, that same spark often appears the moment she sees him. The fourth sign is that she becomes genuinely curious about his life. Because curiosity is one of the strongest indicators of attraction. So she wants to know where he grew up, what his dreams are. She asks about his family, his ambitions, his past experiences, and even his opinions on different things. And she does not just accept surface-level answers. She asks follow-up questions as well, because when someone likes a person, they do not just want information. They want understanding, and simple surface details are no longer enough, since they begin to want access to the deeper layers of who that person truly is. A woman who has no real interest in you might still enjoy a conversation, But a woman who secretly likes you wants to understand your world. She wants to know what motivates you, what hurts you, what excites you, and what kind of future you are building. And that is not casual curiosity, that is emotional investment. The fifth sign is that she notices changes in you that others completely miss. So if you get a new haircut, she notices it. If you change your style, she notices it. If you seem tired, she notices it. And if you look happier than usual, she also notices that. While most people are too focused on themselves to pay attention to small details about others, a woman who secretly likes you naturally becomes more observant of you than the average person. She pays attention not because she is forcing herself to, but because attraction naturally sharpens awareness. And it is interesting how quickly we notice changes in people who matter to us, and at the same time, how little we notice in those who do not. So if she is consistently picking up details that everyone else overlooks, there is a strong chance her feelings are shaping her attention. The sixth sign is that she experiences slight jealousy even when she tries to hide it. And to be clear, healthy attraction and unhealthy possessiveness are not the same thing. But when a woman likes someone, there is often a subtle emotional reaction when another woman gets his attention. Maybe her mood changes a little. Maybe she starts asking questions. Maybe she suddenly becomes quieter. Maybe she jokes about it. Or maybe she acts completely unaffected while still paying close attention. Because the point is not dramatic jealousy. The point is emotional investment. And when someone matters to us, the idea of losing their attention naturally creates a reaction, even if it is never expressed openly. So a woman who secretly likes you may not admit that she feels jealous. In fact, she may try hard to hide it. But emotions often leak through small cracks in behavior, and sometimes the strongest feelings appear exactly when someone is trying the hardest to conceal them. The seventh sign is that she supports your growth and your success. And this is one of the most important signs of all, because a woman who truly likes you does not only enjoy your presence, she genuinely wants to see you win. She encourages your goals. She celebrates your achievements. She believes in your potential. She supports you when you are doubting yourself. And she wants you to become the best version of yourself. And this matters because physical attraction can create excitement, but emotional attraction creates real investment. And when someone genuinely cares about you, your success starts to matter to them. Your progress becomes meaningful to them, and your happiness becomes important to them. And that level of interest goes far beyond appearance because anyone can admire who you are right now. But someone who secretly likes you often sees who you could become in the future. The mistake many men make is looking for a single sign instead of recognizing patterns. Because one smile means very little, one conversation means very little, and one compliment also means very little. But when multiple signs start appearing together, that is when the picture becomes much clearer. She remembers details. She creates reasons to talk. Her body language changes around you. She becomes curious about your life. She notices things others miss. She reacts emotionally when your attention shifts, and she supports your growth. And individually, these signs may look small, but together they form a story that often says more than words ever could. The reality is that many women do not immediately reveal their feelings because they are trying to protect themselves. They fear rejection, they fear vulnerability, and they fear being misunderstood. So instead of openly announcing their emotions, they allow their actions to speak quietly for them. And the real question is not always whether she is giving signs, but whether you are paying enough attention to notice them. Because attraction rarely arrives with a loud announcement. It usually arrives quietly hidden inside small gestures, lingering eye contact, thoughtful questions, remembered details, and consistent effort. And when you learn to recognize those signals, you begin to understand something powerful about human connection, that people may hide their feelings, people may deny their emotions, and people may avoid saying what is truly in their hearts. But eventually, genuine interest always finds a way to reveal itself through behavior, because actions tend to speak when words stay silent. And sometimes the biggest sign that a woman secretly likes you is not something she says at all, but everything she consistently does when she believes you are not paying attention. The interesting thing about attraction is that it slowly changes the way a person shows up in your life. So a woman who secretly likes you starts investing energy where she does not have to. She gives attention where there is no obligation. And attention is one of the most valuable things a person can offer because time is something nobody ever gets back. What really matters is consistency, because anyone can be kind for a single day, anyone can show interest for a moment, and anyone can appear engaged during a good conversation. But consistency is completely different. Consistency reveals intention. So if she regularly checks on you, regularly responds to you, and regularly makes an effort to stay connected, that effort carries meaning because people are busy, they have responsibilities, distractions, and priorities. Yet somehow, even with everything going on in her life, she still finds space for you, and that does not happen randomly or by accident. Sometimes a woman who likes you becomes surprisingly protective of you, not in an obvious or controlling way, but in a subtle form where she pays attention to whether you are okay. She notices when you seem stressed. She asks if you have eaten. And she checks in when you have been quiet for too long. And what is interesting is that she may not even realize she is doing it, because her concern becomes automatic. She starts caring about your well-being simply because she is already emotionally invested in your happiness. And when someone cares about your happiness, they naturally begin to notice your struggles as well. And many men miss this because they are searching for romance while ignoring care, even though care is often where romance quietly begins. Since before someone loves you, they usually start by caring about you. And before someone imagines a future with you, they first start wondering whether you are okay in the present moment. Another sign you may notice is that she starts valuing your opinion. So out of all the people she could ask, she chooses you, she asks for your advice, she asks how you feel about different situations, and she wants your perspective. And when you think about it, people do not seek opinions from those they do not respect. So when a woman likes you, your thoughts begin to carry more weight than they do for most other people. She becomes genuinely interested in how you see the world. Your approval may start to matter more than she openly admits, and your feedback may influence her decisions more than she directly shows. And this is not because she is weak or dependent, but because emotional attraction naturally increases the importance of someone's viewpoint. And when someone matters to us, what they think begins to matter as well. You may also notice that she becomes more playful around you. There is a lightness in the interaction. She teases you, jokes with you, and creates small moments of laughter. And playfulness is often a sign of comfort because people become playful when they enjoy someone's presence. And it is one of the ways attraction lowers emotional barriers. And interestingly, teasing is often a hidden form of attention because she notices things about you, she remembers details, and she turns them into jokes that create small inside moments between the two of you. And those moments may seem small on the surface, but they actually build emotional connection because every shared laugh creates familiarity. Every inside joke creates a bond. And every playful interaction gives both people another reason to think about each other later, which is exactly why it matters. Since a woman who secretly likes you often creates these moments, intentionally or unintentionally, because she enjoys the emotional connection they produce. Sometimes you may even catch her looking at you when she thinks you are not paying attention. And this is one of the oldest signs in human behavior. Because when we are interested in someone, our attention naturally drifts toward them. We look, we observe, and we notice, often without realizing it. And then the moment eye contact happens, we quickly look away. Not because we are guilty, but because we have been caught. And you may notice this happening more than once, where you look up unexpectedly, and she is already looking at you. You walk into a room, and her eyes quickly find you. And when you speak in a group setting, she tends to focus on you more than anyone else. And although these moments may seem small, they often reveal where her attention naturally wants to go, and attention rarely lies. One of the most overlooked signs is that she remembers important dates and events in your life. Maybe it is a job interview, an exam, a project you have been working on, or something personal you mentioned weeks ago. And then suddenly she brings it up by asking how it went, how the meeting turned out, or whether things worked out the way you hoped. And that level of memory reflects emotional investment. Because she was not just hearing you at the time, she cared enough to remember. And remembering requires attention. Attention requires interest, and interest requires emotional energy. And when you look at it closely, you can see how the pattern begins to form. Nothing exists in isolation. Every small sign connects to a larger truth. Another powerful clue is when she shares things with you that she does not share with everyone else. Because people reveal different layers of themselves depending on how much trust exists. And the deeper the emotional connection, the more willing they become to open up. So a woman who secretly likes you may start telling you things she does not tell others, including her fears, insecurities, dreams, frustrations, and private thoughts, not because she is trying to impress you, but because she feels emotionally safe with you. And emotional safety is extremely valuable, since many people spend years looking for someone they can truly open up to. So when she begins sharing vulnerable parts of herself, it is worth paying attention because she is allowing you into spaces she does not open for everyone else. And that is meaningful. You may also notice that she becomes more aware of your emotional state than most people are, because while most people only notice obvious emotions like extreme happiness or visible sadness, a woman who likes you often picks up on subtle changes. She notices when you are quieter than usual, when your energy feels different, or when something seems slightly off, and sometimes she asks about it before anyone else even realizes anything has changed. And that happens because attraction increases observation. So when someone matters to us, we naturally pay closer attention and become more sensitive to their moods and behavior. And without even realizing it, she starts tracking your emotional world. Not because she has to, but because she genuinely wants to. Another sign many men miss is when she starts including you in her future conversations. So notice how she talks about upcoming events and whether she naturally assumes you will be part of them. Maybe she mentions something happening next month and casually includes you. Maybe she talks about plans and imagines you being there. Or she refers to future experiences that involve both of you. And this does not automatically mean she is planning a relationship, but it often means you have already become part of how she imagines future moments. And that matters because people do not usually place others into their future, unless those people already occupy space in their thoughts. So you slowly become part of her mental picture, part of her expectations, and part of her anticipation, which rarely happens without some level of emotional attachment. You might also notice that she celebrates your small victories, not just the big achievements, but the smaller ones that most people ignore. So when you accomplish something minor, she still congratulates you. When you make progress toward a goal, she acknowledges it. And when you overcome a challenge, she notices it. And the reason is simple. Because when someone secretly likes you, your wins feel meaningful to them. Your progress creates positive emotions in them, and they genuinely enjoy seeing you succeed. Which is a beautiful sign because real attraction is not only about wanting attention, it is also about wanting good things for the other person. Sometimes she may even defend you when you are not around. And this is one of the strongest signs of respect and affection, because when people matter to us, we naturally protect their reputation. We speak positively about them. We challenge unfair criticism, and we support them in conversations they are not even part of, often without them ever knowing it happened. A woman who secretly likes you may advocate for you in ways you will never actually see. She may speak highly of you when you are not around. She may highlight your strengths, and she may defend your character when it is being questioned. And the reason behind this is simple. Your image matters to her because you matter to her. Another thing worth noticing is how quickly she responds emotionally to your presence. Because imagine she is having a bad day. Imagine she is stressed or frustrated. And then you show up, and suddenly her energy improves. She smiles more, and her mood shifts. And this happens because people we care about naturally affect our emotional state. Their presence changes how we feel, and when attraction is involved, that effect becomes even stronger. So you become associated with positive emotions. Your messages brighten her day, your voice lifts her mood, and your presence changes her energy. And that is not something people consciously force. It is something they experience naturally. Perhaps one of the clearest signs is that she keeps giving you opportunities to talk, to connect, to spend time together, and to get closer. Because the truth is that attraction often does not announce itself with certainty. Instead, it shows up as chances, small openings, and subtle invitations where the other person is given space to move forward. And a woman who secretly likes you may not directly tell you how she feels, but she often creates situations where you have the chance to notice it. She keeps the door open again and again. The challenge is that many men miss these opportunities because they are waiting for certainty. But human emotions rarely come with certainty. They come with clues, patterns of behavior, and consistent actions repeated over time. And when you learn to recognize those patterns, something changes. You stop obsessing over individual signs. You stop analyzing every message, and you stop overthinking every interaction because you begin to see the bigger picture, and that bigger picture is never built on one look, one smile, one conversation, or one compliment, but on repeated attention, repeated effort, repeated care, and repeated investment. And those are the things that reveal genuine interest, because attraction is not proven by what someone says in a perfect moment. It is revealed by what they consistently choose to do over time, until her actions slowly begin to tell a story that becomes harder to ignore. A story built not through grand declarations, but through presence, curiosity, emotional investment, and consistent effort that shows up again and again. And sometimes the most powerful sign appears when you pull back slightly and give her space. Because many men believe attraction is measured by how much effort they give, but often it becomes more visible when effort is temporarily reduced. So when you are not constantly messaging first, when you are not always initiating every conversation, and when you're simply focused on your own life, a woman who secretly likes you may begin to feel your absence more than she expected. She starts reaching out. She starts wondering where you are. And she starts looking for your attention, not because she is playing games, but because your presence had become an important part of her routine. And human beings naturally notice value most when it is missing. So when she begins creating contact after noticing your absence, it shows she enjoys having you in her life. Another subtle sign is that she listens differently than most people, because most people listen just to respond. They wait for their turn to speak, and they hear words without fully absorbing them. But a woman who secretly likes you often listens to understand. She pays attention to the emotions behind your words. She notices what excites you and what frustrates you. She remembers things you said weeks ago, and she connects details from different conversations. And later she may bring up something you forgot mentioning. And in that moment, you realize she was not just hearing you. She was truly listening, and there is a big difference, because being heard feels good, but being understood feels rare, and attraction often pushes people toward that deeper level of understanding. You may also notice that she genuinely enjoys your success without making it about herself. So when good things happen to you, she feels happy. Not because she gains anything from it, but because your success genuinely matters to her. And that kind of emotional generosity should not be ignored. Because when someone is focused on their own life, a person who sincerely celebrates your victories is someone who is emotionally invested in you. And then there are moments when she becomes slightly nervous, because not every woman becomes shy when she likes someone. But many experience subtle signs of nervousness. Maybe she stumbles over her words. Maybe she overthinks her messages before sending them. Maybe she becomes more self-conscious about how she looks, or maybe she worries about how she is being perceived. And the reason is simple. When someone matters, the interaction carries more emotional weight. And emotional weight naturally creates pressure because we start caring more about the outcome and the impression we are making. And that nervous energy is not a weakness. It is often a sign that the interaction truly means something to her. And one of the clearest truths about attraction is this. People naturally move toward what they value, not always quickly, not always smoothly, and not without hesitation. But eventually they do move toward it. And a woman who secretly likes you may hesitate, overthink, or even send mixed signals at times. But her actions will usually continue guiding her closer through conversation, connection, understanding, and emotional investment. Because genuine feelings always have direction, they move toward closeness. And while words can be controlled and edited, consistent behavior is much harder to hide. That is why the most important thing is to stop focusing only on what she says and start paying attention to what she repeatedly does. Because attraction leaves patterns, not just once or twice, but again and again in the attention she gives, the effort she makes, the details she remembers, the way she reacts around you, the concern she shows, and the opportunities she creates. And if you pay close attention, you will often realize that long before a woman ever says she likes you, she has already been showing it through a long list of small actions that speak far louder than words ever could.